I wanted to make custom belt buckles of riverscapes, one for myself and 2 others for buddies. One river section was of the Buffalo Fork, which is outside of Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I created another of the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. To make them, first I went onto Google Maps to find the river section. In the satellite layer view, I zoomed in thinking about the thickness I wanted the river to be and how much resin would show on the physical belt buckles. I wanted a good proportion of the resin river to the wood. I took a screenshot when it was to my liking. I brought the screenshot into my iPad Pro and created a layer on top of the screenshot. I drew the outline of the river, and then I brought the drawing into Illustrator, where I did an image trace to turn the line into a vector image. Still in Illustrator, I created an artboard the size of the piece of walnut wood I was using, outlines of the size of the blank belt buckles, then layered riverscapes onto it in the way that it would cut on the laser cutter. I laser cut the wood at my local makerspace and brought it home to put it all together. Blue tape was layered over the cuts to keep all the small pieces together. I took the tape off, pulled out the cuts, and removed the unwanted rivers and small pieces. I wanted to create 3 buckles, but I wanted to experiment just a bit with all 3. For 2, I wanted the wood to be exposed or raw with a blue tinted river. For the 3rd, I spray painted the buckle blue and was going to have the wood be layered with clear resin. I got my buckles and ink ready and started to mix up my art resin. Art resin is a 2-part mixture with the medium and the hardener. It is crucial to measure and fully mix these in equal parts or the resin won't harden properly. I used tuck tape, which is a super sticky tape ideal for resin pouring projects, to create beds where my wood would be held together and hold the resin in the rivers. With the clear resin, I poured it over the entire piece of wood using a brush to hit all the spots. For the other 2, I put a bit of ink into the resin mixture to give it a blue tint, then poured it into the rivers. I used a hairdryer to get the little bubbles out and make sure it seeped into the river fully. I let the resin flow out onto the surface of the wood, which in other projects might be frustrating because the resin would need to be sanded off and it gets extremely hard. For this one, I decided that the current bottom would become the top and I placed the buckle on it, allowing the resin to be the glue to hold it together. After it hardened and cured for 2 days, I pulled off the tape. I was able to remove the resin on the surface and smoothed out the wood and resin by gradually working through textures of sandpaper ending with polish, and finally wood conditioner. For the piece with the resin poured over top, it just didn't look as good, so I reversed direction, put the wood on the outside and attached the buckle and riverscape using Gorilla Glue. I bought a leather belt for attaching this buckle and now had my own custom riverscape belt buckle and 2 to give away.